We're keeping a very close eye on Diepsloot from late last night and throughout the day. Now the sun beginning to set again. Residents have been protesting. They're fed up with a lack of visible policing, taking to the streets in protest to raise concerns over the surging crime levels, which of course is linked to the lack of visible policing. Claiming, going as far, these are the residents, claiming that police have actually abandoned them and criminals have completely taken over. Let's take you back to Diepsloot this hour and bring you up to speed. Manqoba Mchunu is there for us. Hello, Manqoba. So last time we saw you were essentially walking behind a group of people, a group of residents who were insisting they were going down to the R511, which links to the N14 highway. What are the protests looking like at the moment, and what happened with that small group?
Well, I can tell you, Gareth, that community members here are not letting go of their protest. They're still continuing as we speak, Gareth. They're on the streets. It's just that, they go to different directions. And if you try to, perhaps catch up with community members, I mean, sometimes it's difficult to catch up with them because, they move in different directions. But I can tell you, Gareth, that as we speak, the protest is still continuing. And the community members are still going around this particular area. They're still targeting some of the areas or some of the businesses that are linked to foreign nationals in this particular area. They're saying that these are some of the businesses that are harboring criminals in this community. So we've seen that, of course, throughout the whole day, where the residents have taken to the streets, literally dismantling some of these structures, the shacks, and also burning some of them, saying that they want, the acts of criminality to stop in this community. But most importantly, they want, those that are responsible for the crimes in this area to leave this community. And many of them, they say, happen to be foreign nationals, which they say are really terrorizing this community. Of course, it's not the first time that they are taking to the streets. We also saw them yesterday when they took to the street last night, and in fact doing what they're doing today. And they're saying that they've had no joy as far as receiving any resolutions from the police minister, Bheki, who has visited this area on a number of occasions. Last year, you recall, Gareth, that there was that incident that happened when one of the foreign nationals was stoned to death in this community, obviously, to be precise. And the minister had come to this community promising that there will be intervention as far as crime is concerned, but there were deployments here in this community. But residents saying that after those deployments had been moved, the crime had not improved at all in this community, and they're back to square one as far as things are concerned. They're saying that they don't want the police minister Bheki here. They want President Cyril Ramaphosa to come and address them. And up until that happens, they say their protest will continue. But take a listen to the residents, one of the community leaders explaining earlier on what they are saying as community members as far as police inactivity and inaction is concerned in this community.
Requested Minister Bheki to come here previously. We have seen the solution that he's bringing are not permanent, because we will deploy police for a moment of time, and then these police will patrol the main roads. We want police that will be here permanently, that will get in number 12, number 13, and number 1, where the hotspot of crime is. Hence now we are requesting the president to come. One of the issues what we have realized, people were arrested here, illegal foreigners, to be specific, were arrested here, and they were released by the Randburg court, sent back to the same community of Diepsloot, where we are saying they are illegal. You release them from court to come to Diepsloot to do what? To do what in our community? People who have came in our country illegally. We are not xenophobic. This thing of saying South Africans are xenophobic, it must stop. We are not xenophobic as South Africans. It is a fact that a majority of crimes that are committed in our community, it is illegal foreigners, to be specific, from Zimbabwe. We cannot call such people our brothers. It is a fact that people who come in our country and sell drugs, majority of them are from Nigeria. It is a fact. We know we're Africans. They are African brothers, but we can't call someone that comes in your country, that comes in your community and sell your people drugs and murder your people and rape your people, and we are told that we must call them brothers. No, they are not our brothers, those who are doing those things. They are our enemies.
And trying to deal with the so-called enemies is supposed to be the police minister, Beki Cele. But Manqoba, I think you and I both know, I was out in Diepsloot earlier this year as well, and last year. When the minister arrives, then the commissioner arrives, lots of blue lights, lots of sirens, lots of police, and then they seem to fade away. And that's exactly what is so upsetting for the residents. They say they don't want the police there. They want the president.
Indeed, Gareth, and in fact you'll know that this is not only the community of Diepsloot that is saying this. As far as the police are concerned, there are other communities that have similar issues as far as the police minister arriving in some of these areas and the deployments that are made in those particular communities. I'm reminded of one of those communities, which is Westbury community, that also says, every time that the police top brass come to the areas, there are promises that are made. Indeed, there are deployments that are made in those communities, but as soon as those deployments are removed, that's when the communities are back to fend for themselves as far as crime is concerned. And this is what residents here in Diepsloot are saying is happening. They're saying that they now have no other options but to take to the streets. I asked one of the leaders earlier on whether, such violence that we're seeing here in this community is warranted. And they're saying that this is really the last option. They've tried to sit down with the police top brass. They had their issues thrashed out with the police as far as some of their concerns are concerned. But also, they took their matter to the police. They marched to the police station about 2 weeks ago. That's when there were about 3 people that had died in this community. And just a day after that had happened, Gareth, there were 3 more people that actually died in this community following that very protest that was calling for police to put an end to crime in this community. So they're saying, Gareth, that they are going to continue with this protest. They want President Cyril Ramaphosa to come. Of course, we've seen police trying to disperse the community members, but they've been unsuccessful. There was, quite a number of community members that were pushing on with this protest, and at some point even attempting, to blockade the N14. To get their message across really to authorities that they're fed up with crime in this area and that they want action now. But I spoke to one of the community leaders again, Lois Ochoya, just on where this is all going and what the community really wants from here, and this is what he had to say.
Now the community have decided that now we are going to the streets, and this time people will be violent. It seems like the only language that our government will hear and understand is the violent language. We are not happy to ban our streets. This is our street. This is our infrastructure. But in order to get an attention of our leaders, this is necessary according to our community.
Well, unfortunately, we know that this violence started late last night when the sun was very much down. Unfortunately, as we head up to, where are we? I'm looking for the clock. There it is, 5:15. In Diepsloot as well, it's going to get dark soon, and I expect we're going to see more violence later. Hopefully not, but that is the expectation at the moment. On the ground for us, and he will be for this evening, I'm sure, Manqoba Mchunu, ENCA reporter, just getting a sense of exactly what the community wants, what they don't want, and you can see how that anger is spilling over onto the roads. When we come